So I've been meaning to do more of these in using the YouTube mobile app, but for some reason, I feel like the numbers are significantly lower whenever I do it on mobile. So I guess we'll test it out today and see if that's true or not. What's up, Marshall? Bradley? Welcome, welcome. So what's everyone up to? What questions do we have? So for anyone wondering, my name is Shashank. I'm a senior data analyst at Nordstrom, a major fashion retailer in North America, and this live stream is a one where I basically answer any questions that people might have about the world of data science and analytics. What's up, Jonathan? Kevin, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for joining. All right, so what questions do we have? What are your aspirations, Marshall? Getting right to the deep stuff. It's actually a good question. Well, so I'm downstairs in I'm in Denver right now, right? And there's a homeless guy yelling at a car, and I think one aspiration I have is to figure out if I can do anything about the homelessness crisis that is a big deal in America. I visited Tokyo a couple of years ago was there for like 2 weeks. Um, no homeless people, and then I started looking up stats on it and everything, and like the way that Japan deals with homeless people, it's a combination of effective and ineffective techniques. One thing that they do that's really cool is that they just give a stipend to anyone that's homeless to like make sure that they're housed. Make sure that they're housed. So I think there's a lot that we can do that's a bit better. All right, let's see. What is the next question? Ulterior motif. How should I decide between programmer and data analyst transitioning from a decade of graphic design? Well, I think it depends on what like. What do you find more interesting? The good thing is both of those careers pay well. A software developer will pay better, yes. So I would ask yourself, like, what do you find yourself like really enjoying? So, for example, I have always been a very analytical person. I like looking at things and analyzing them very, very deeply. I also like building things, which is what software engineers do. So, personally, I think I could have done either, and I just kind of like fell into data analysis. So I would ask yourself, like, when you were a kid, what were you spending most of your time doing? For me, it was like I was like a lot of Legos. I would always read things and analyze them very, very deeply. So I think that kind of influences what will make you happy in life. And the good thing is they're both great careers. So Samir Hijazi, which has been better for you living wise, Seattle or Dallas? Seattle or Dallas has been significantly more practical. It was way cheaper. I was living at my parents' house, but even if I got my own apartment, it would have been way cheaper. Gas would have been not costing nearly as much. Um, a lot of the social problems you see in Seattle are not nearly as big of a deal in Dallas. Housing is affordable over there, but the people I find to be more competitive and interesting in Seattle. And a lot of that's why you move over there, right? Because the tech scene over there is highly, highly, highly competitive. So give and a take. Let's see. Isha Bahal. What are some in-demand skills that data analysis can monetize as a freelancer or a consultant? If you know how to program, that is a major, major skill. So learning Python and learning Python, SQL, and a BI tool are probably your biggest benefits, and that's where most of my contracts came in from. Knowing Python was easily the most monetizable skill I had because once you know that, you can do basically anything. Because Python, it's a full programming language, and there's so many libraries created for it to do everything from creating websites to creating creating neural networks to optimization algorithms. So I would say if you're looking for a single skill, it's going to be Python, and I have a Python tutorial that you can check out that has more information on that. Stephen Sal. Hi, Shashank. Working for Nordstrom. Did you have to learn more about supply chain along with the data analyst position? Not for my position at Nordstrom. I had to learn that for my first job at Interstate Batteries because I was a supply chain analyst over there. But in my current job, I don't have to learn much about supply chain because what I do is not really related to that. But great to see a fellow Nordy over here. Awesome. Are you in the Seattle office or somewhere else? MR Green, YT, hello. JJ, hello, hello. Sid, any tips for a resume for freshers who want to make a transition to data analyst? No formal CS or IT education. So do you have an education, like a bachelor's degree? That I would say that is something that you really want to have and will drastically improve your chances of getting, a job in the in the field. After that, go ahead and start learning some basic skills. Use the BI tool, some SQL, and Python, and start doing some projects. I have a roadmap video you can check out on my channel. Look up Shashank roadmap. It should be like the first result. How are you? Doing well, doing well. What what does this taste like? Can you describe that at all?
I haven't tried it yet. I know it doesn't have like a super mushroom flavor. I know it's super popular. A lot of people like it. I can go ask Meg really quick to give me like, because she's tried it a bunch of times.
Is there caffeine in it?
Yes, there is caffeine.
I'll take one of them,
You want
please.
to try it?
Yeah, see what happens.
Frappuccino. Do you want it iced or hot?
Ice, please.
Awesome. And then it comes with oat milk. Is that alright?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Awesome. Anything else?
Nope.
Can I get a name?
Sean. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're all set.
All right, guys. I was ordering my coffee, so I am thinking about for this live stream, as I say, like I get a coffee and everything. I'm thinking about going to like a different coffee shop every single Thursday with this live stream whenever I don't have a guest on. All right, what do we have? What do we have? Lee, how long should a typical portfolio project take to complete? Honestly, it really depends on you. You know, like some people will come in with more skills, some people will come in with fewer skills. Um, I would say a portfolio project should take a substantial amount of work from you, whatever that means. And it should really answer some kind of a question that you have, is what I'd say. So a lot of people want these like specifics around portfolio projects, and they're kind of just hard to give, really. My dough, welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to see you again. How's the job going? Mayuri, great to see you. Steven Sao, not a Nordy, but I transitioned from industrial engineering to DA. Thanks you. Awesome. My brother's an industrial engineer, so great field, great field. Let's see. Where Mel, Tokyo doesn't have homeless people. I think they have a bigger sofa surfing issue. Sofa surfing issue, though. No, they have homeless people. The thing is, the government does a lot more to deal with them, but the people who don't get dealt with, they kind of get like pushed to the edges of society. So, it's definitely not perfect, but it's significantly better than what we have in the United States. One major difference also is that Japanese real estate prices don't explode the way they do over here, for whatever reason. And so there are some things that definitely are done better than they are here. Dennis Hodges, are you taking mentees? Not right now. Groovy term. I'm 31 and only now contemplating upskilling in DA in the marketing vertical. Is it too late? No way. No way. No. I know people in their 50s on this channel that like they show up to this live stream and they're getting into the field. So not at all. 31 is really young. And what I tell people, like anyone who's like not in their 20s, basically, right, is you have all this great experience. Make sure you capitalize on that, and you don't just like not use that whenever you are applying for jobs, because that experience will drastically help you do better and get better jobs than say if you went the exact path I went as an inexperienced graduate. Jake, welcome, welcome. Steven Sao, cool. Great to in Texas A&M. Nice, 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 nice. Interesting. Yeah, small world. House tour sometimes. Yeah. So I live in a studio. So yeah, I can show it to you. It's basically a room and a bathroom. Is K means useful, actually? Yes, very useful. K means extremely useful. Thank you. All right, guys. So I got something called a iced chagachino from this place called Cafe Landskap. It's this like Swedish-like cafe in the center of Denver near Union Station. So yeah, they said something. It has like mushrooms in it. So it's tasty. It's good. They say it's really healthy. So All right, let's see what else we have. Sid, I have a MECE degree. Nice, nice. Dennis Hodges, do you know R and Python? I only know Python. I can make my way around R. It's just every time I try to learn it, I just lose the willpower because I can just do whatever I need to do in Python. If you force me to, I could probably pick up R in about a month to like a reasonable level of like um, proficiency. It's just that I've never had to do it because everywhere I've gone, Python is the generally accepted language. Mohammed Ahmed Nizamani. Hey Shashank, hope you're doing well. Thank you. I hope you're doing well too. Can you please share some proper data sets that we can do analyses upon? I've worked on tutorial data sets like Titanic and personality data sets. Okay, so that's a good idea. I can go ahead and do that. I would recommend you check out data.gov, which is the United States government website for data. I wouldn't say most, many national governments and state governments have their own websites for like clean data. So feel free to check those out. Um, the US has particularly good data. NYC.data, so New York's open data sets are really, really good as well. So are Chicago's. So basically look up any major American city. London presumably has a good one. I've never checked, but I'm guessing London has a really good one. Um, so check out the data from there. Government data sets are amazing. Kaggle, as I'm pretty sure you already know, also has a lot of great data. So I recommend that as well. Nikita Andrievsky, hi from Ukraine. Well, I hope you're staying safe. Um, we have a lot of our, so Nordstrom, we have a lot of our IT staff in Ukraine. So we're hoping that everyone's staying safe over there. All right. Jonathan, oh, you're in Denver. Yes, I am currently in Denver. I'm currently in Denver. Let's see. Next question. Davlin Swain. Oh, interesting name. Hope I pronounced that correctly. I've been looking for a data analyst job for 2.5 months. I have experience in SQL, Python, and Tableau, but my resume has only technical support staff and network analyst. Any advice? Wow. Okay, so you have experience in all three. So when you say you have experience in all three of those, do you mean you have like professional experience in all three of those, or like project experience? I'm just curious. Because if you have professional experience in all three of those while like having those jobs, that's quite impressive. Um, I would say really highlight those things, do a project, put that on the front of your resume, and really twist the experience as your analyst experience, right? To communicate how you would do well in a data analyst role. So I have a video, how to craft the perfect tech resume. Go ahead and watch that. I go over a lot of resume tips in order to, make a better resume. See what if I'm missing anything. A Vargas. Thanks for roadmap. I have a second interview with Apple for a data analyst position tomorrow. I really appreciate it. Dude, that's awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff. The Sage Observer. If you know R, should you still learn Python? Honestly, it depends on your workplace. I know people that only know R and have done really well in their careers. I will say that I personally recommend Python, but if you happen to be in a workplace that like you can use R in, then that's totally fine. People say that you can use both in the workplace. I haven't seen that to be true personally. Just anecdotally, I've never seen that to be true. Like either people end up coding things twice as much, or the team just picks one or the other. So I would say the only disadvantage you might have is that if you ever look to switch companies, more companies use Python than R. Um, what and again, R is a tremendous language, has a lot of great stuff in it, including better stats libraries than Python does. Although Python's are catching up right now. So I would say no, you don't have to learn Python, but beware that it might be a little bit more difficult in the job market if you're looking for a new job. Mel, Office of National Statistics is a source for UK government data, but the format can be a bit of a pain. Okay, okay, sweet. Um, Austin Glendening, are you familiar with Salesforce, or do you think it's worth learning to pursuing data analytics? Salesforce. So Salesforce, Oracle, JD Edwards, all of this can be like grouped together. Obviously, I know like Salesforce is CRM, and JD Edwards and Oracle are more like ERP. But the thing is, at the end of the day, these are basically source systems for data. As a data analyst, the most ideal situation, quite honestly, is that an engineer will go ahead and take the data out of those systems and put it into a data warehouse that you can then that makes it easier for you to actually do stuff with. and manipulate. So not specifically. You don't specifically have to learn Salesforce. Like I have had to pull data out of Salesforce, but I usually learn it on the spot in order to like pull that data out. But data analysts should be pulling data out of data warehouses, not like directly out of the source systems. One, because the source systems weren't built to be used like that. Their databases are transactional and very slow, but they're very robust and good at like maintaining a lot, like ensuring that records get in when they need to. Which is why I would recommend that you don't spend your time learning Salesforce or anything specifically, unless your job really needs it. Wonders, hello. Your SurveyMonkey video was really good. I wish I'd seen it earlier. Would have saved me so much time I spent learning. I'm glad that you liked it. Davlin Swain also have an information systems degree from Ohio State. Dude, I was debating going to Ohio State instead of Emory, so I had a full ride and stipend when I was like thinking about going there. And I don't know. I think I may have liked it a little bit better. I kind of wish that like we didn't have a football team or anything at Emory. And my theory is that football teams create pride for your school. But job process is so long for my previous comment. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Sven. Oh, hey, Sven. Is that How I Met Your Mother reference? Hello, Sean. Hope you're well. I've been trying to build a web scraper to get data, and I've been using the pandas directory. Doesn't seem to work. Any suggestions or alternatives? Use Selenium and Beautiful Soup 4. Selenium will help you get the data off the internet, and Beautiful Soup will help you parse it out. Um, pandas pandas will only be able to parse out data that's in a clean table format. Basically, it's meant to be parsed out more or less, which most internet data is not. So I would not recommend using that. I'm 28. I was a Tyler Kohler. I'm in human. One second, I'm crossing the street. All right, I'm 28. I'm in human services field, and I've developed a role with Excel and using data sets within my company. I'm fascinated, and I'm enrolled in the certificate. Am I wasting my time? When you say the certificate, are you talking about the Google Data Analytics certificate? I don't think so. If that's what you're talking about, it's a great certificate. As is IBM's. Actually, I like IBM's because they use Python. Um, Also, I'm debating doing a video called "Senior Data Analyst Speed Runs the Google Data Analytics Certificate." So let me know if you guys think that would be a interesting video. But no, I don't think you're wasting your time. The certificates, at minimum, are really good at helping you build up the skills you need to have. I wouldn't worry too much about the certification itself. Again, I what I always say is that like because certifications in this industry are very non-standardized, as in like you go to talk to any random manager, they won't know what the Google Data Analytics certificate is. Like my manager, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know what it is. And I don't blame them. That like none of them used it to get into the industry, and it's like not standardized at all. So because of that, I would say it's more to learn the skills that you need, and it's a really good motivation to do so. So I have TensorFlow certification from Google. No one's ever asked me about it, but it was a tremendous way to focus my learning to where I could actually like learn TensorFlow and learn a broad array of skills to actually like you know um, better use TensorFlow. All right. Please do that video. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, that sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. The only problem is I like looked at the certificate, and it's like 20 hours per section. But then I looked more closely, and it said 30 minutes of videos, which if I play at 2 times speed, I should be able to cut down to 15. So I'm gonna see if I can speed run it in like one go. Although it is an R, so it might be a little bit of a challenge. But I also already am a data analyst, so I feel like I could speed run it. So I kind of feel like that would be a really funny video. Plus, I'll be honest, I don't, myself included, right? I don't know if any data analyst that has commented on the Google Data Analytics certificate, like anyone that's like working in the industry, um, and has been working for a little while, has actually taken the certificate. Which makes sense. Like, why would I take the certificate? I'm already a data analyst, right? So it might be like a good opportunity to more accurately critique the certificate. So cool, cool. Pravat Tripathi. So I live in Seattle, but I'm currently in Denver. Uh, Iblasi Reddy. Iblasi Reddy. Um, please, what? Sorry. Hi. In the United States, will there be any difference in which university you study in terms of getting a job? Yes, yes, there. For the most part, there will be. Yeah, if you go to a better university, you are more likely to get a better job because your university has better name brand and typically better connections with certain companies. So certain universities, and that's why whenever you go to a university, right, if you're going for the purpose of getting a job, and the reason I say that, right, is because um, universities are not just about getting jobs; they're also about like just expanding your knowledge horizons. Now, I know it's kind of insane to spend that amount of money doing that, but the you should look at like where the alumni graduate to. Um, so, for example, like Emory sends a lot of people to Atlanta-based companies, so things like Coca-Cola, CNN, stuff like that. Um, and that'll give you a good idea of like where you're most likely to be sent to. But yeah, a better university will more easily get you into better jobs. Is doing an online MBA in business analytics good? I think it depends on you. That's a really there's no such thing as a good or a bad degree. It's entirely dependent on your, except for scam degrees, obviously, but it's entirely dependent on your life. What do you want to do? Where are you going? Um, what's your what's your path? So that question can't be answered by anyone but you. Um, yeah, yeah. No one can answer a question like that except for you. Um, God, hey Shashank, how are you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Can anyone from a foreign country get a job in the U.S. without any experience, just based on projects? Probably not. Yeah, most likely not. Either you're gonna need a pretty good university degree, or you're going to need prior experience. Immigrating into the United States is extremely difficult. Um, there are like a billion people trying to do it all at once. So, long story short, no, I don't think you could do it based on projects. Um, in that case, Canada might be a better bet. Canada pays pretty well, um, and is culturally very similar to the U.S. So, but the U.S. That's a hard pass, I'd say. Ever sequential. Hello, Go So Buddy. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Crash Jackson. Hi, what databases will you recommend implementing to a startup to manage their data across Africa? Um, I mean, it depends on what y'all like. If you guys are already on the cloud, right? Then I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with any of the major cloud providers. I forget what Azure's is called, but you have Redshift with Amazon, right? GCP has their own SQL databases. I mean, Postgres or MySQL would probably be a good bet because if you do like MySQL or Postgres, then you'll have a lot of. It'll be easy to scout out because everyone knows Postgres, everyone knows SQL or MySQL, like because they're really standardized SQL databases. So those would not be bad ideas. Um, but there's a lot of stuff to ask yourself. I would probably just do whichever cloud provider you're already using, and then kind of see what databases they have available. Jake Richardson, what's your opinion on degrees in information systems? Do you see a lot of these come across in recruiting? Yes, I do. So go ahead and watch my last video. Um, I created a video that's called "The Best Degrees for Data Analyst," and in that I talk about how information systems is one of the most popular degrees that data analysts get. Wow, that is loud. Oh wow. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dablin Swain, what's the longest it took you to find a job? 3 months, I'd say. Yeah, about 3 months for me. But I've heard 6 months is like very talented people I know take 6 months to find jobs too, because you also don't want to just take any job that comes to you. You want a good one. So like when I say 3 months, right? I had a couple of job offers. I just wasn't happy with any of them until Nordstrom came by, and they offered me like what I was really looking for. So yeah, yeah, like that considers that you also want to get like a good job. You don't want to just get any job. Sam. Okay, of course, Gaud. Any tip? Okay, so on car. Any tips on to build the basic front end for ML projects? Uh, Streamlit. I was going to say Streamlit. Streamlit. That'll be your best friend. Streamlit is amazing, and 100% the tool I would recommend. I need them to sponsor me because I love using their tool. Oh, I need to. Yes, I am outdoor walking. Cool. I told my Apple Watch I was walking outside. But whoops. Nihal Manzoor. Best place to practice SQL queries for free. Um, HackerRank is there. DataCamp is there. Scratch. If you want to practice good SQL queries, but a Scratch, you have to pay for it. But like anything, yeah, like I'd say, like anything good in life, you're gonna have to pay for it. But if you want free, then HackerRank is good. And I think DataCamp you can get like one thing for free, but Scratch is probably what I'd recommend the most because they have the most realistic data analyst and data science questions. Like their whole thing is like it's really like a leak code for data scientists and data analysts, which is awesome because that hasn't really existed for us until recently. So it is paid, but in my opinion, it is the best one out there as well. Sam Bargesta. Hey, how can I improve on asking the right questions for EDA? I'm pretty low on creativity, and I think it's hard for me to figure out what question has any tip. Okay, so what Sam is referring to here is what I tell people to do with their EDA. Basically, when you're doing EDA or exploratory data analysis, right, it's all about starting somewhere and asking yourself questions about the data. So let's say I have a car data set, a data set on like automobiles, right, and crash data from automobiles. The first question I might ask might be something super simple along the lines of, okay, well, which car manufacturer has the least crashes as a proportion of cars out there? And let's say it's Tesla, right? It probably is Tesla, quite honestly. Um, and then then the next question would be, okay, like why is that the case, right? So I think if you're struggling to think of a question, then consistently and constantly asking why is not a bad move, right? So okay, so let's say Tesla has the least crashes per car, right? Then I would say, okay, well, why is that the case? So then you have to go find a data set that kind of helps you determine that, or some articles that help you determine that, right? um, and then let's say we find out that, okay, I can't find any specific reason. Then we say, okay, maybe it has something to do with the small number of cars they've had on the road, right? So then you need to like limit the data. So what if I like randomly sampled all Toyotas and Chevys to the same size as Tesla? Let's say there's only 1,000 Teslas on the road, right? And then so I sample only 1,000 cars from the Chevys and the Toyotas, like randomly sample, right? Those should be representative samples, really. And say I do that, and I find out, okay, Teslas are still doing better. Okay, well, now we need to start looking at what are people getting into accidents over. So let's say the accidents happen. It turns out Teslas get into accidents under 30 miles an hour, way less than competitors or something like that. But they hit pedestrians under 30 miles an hour a lot less. And let's say like maybe that has something to do with the fact that they make no noise. It's hard for pedestrians to like know that they're there. So that's kind of like how you do it. You keep asking yourself why, and eventually you'll get to some very interesting questions. Mel, yes, EDA projects make you feel like a detective. That's exactly what they're all about, at least in my opinion. All right, let's see. God, are there DSA rounds too for data analyst and interview? Not so. DSA stands for data structures and algorithms. Not really. There shouldn't be. I remember I had one interviewer that did that, but he was a software engineer that and a smart guy, but he didn't know anything about data science, data analytics, right? So I had like this one dude that was what do you call it? That like the software engineer that gave me a bunch of DSA questions, but it's not relevant to what we do for the most part. So any legit data science interview is not going to give you a lot of those, in my opinion. Maybe machine learning engineer, they'll do that. But yeah, I don't think that they would do that for data science, data analyst, and data science. Uh, Nav 34D. I'm waiting for the results on my interview as a junior data. And that's awesome. Well, I hope you get it. Best of luck to you. Shubham Ganguly. Interviewers are looking for competitive programming level questions for data science MLE jobs. What's your stance on this? MLE, I think is totally fine. At the end of the day, a machine learning engineer is going to spend a lot of their time coding, and they have to be an excellent developer. Because it's all about optimizing complicated algorithms, right? Like obviously, I guess you don't have to be as skilled as a software engineer at it, but if someone's like asking for stuff like that, like for a machine learning engineer, I don't really see the problem with it. Data scientists, I do. For a data scientist, like coding is merely a tool. Versus for a software engineer, it is like the tool. It is how you do your most basic job. But for a data scientist, as auto ML and stuff becomes more popular, I mean, you'll still have to know how to code, but at the end of the day, like the coding itself is not the product that a data scientist is creating. Versus, a software engineer, that is literally what they're creating. Like their job is to do that. I mean, I guess it is to engineer software, which you can do in multiple ways, but it's going to be coding for the near, foreseeable future. So I think that asking those questions to data scientists is not right. Like you want to make sure that they can code, but I'm not concerned with like anything like competitive or like are they like an elite level coder or anything. Wow, the weather's amazing today. So we are in Denver, Colorado, which is just a beautiful city. The thing I love about Denver is it feels like a really, really big town. If you look at like the skyline, there aren't that many tall buildings and stuff. And if you walk downtown, like the downtown's very, very small. Um, but it feels like a downtown. I mean, it's like a big city. Sorry, a big town. Sorry, it feels like a big town, and it's always sunny over here, which is amazing. Only thing is that it gets really, really cold. That's the only problem. But oh, and more than that, it gets really dry over here. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Jonathan O. I know that data analyst doesn't require a master's to get into the industry, but what do you feel like would be a good choice if you want to pursue one? Um, if I was to get a master's, I would demand a data scientist job. I wouldn't ask for a data analyst job. And the reason I would demand a data scientist job is from a corporate perspective, a data scientist can do data analyst work, but not the other way around. As in, like, what do you get assigned in corporate? And more importantly, what do you get paid? If you look at like corporate, so when you join a company, right, they have these things called salary bands, um, which are basically like, maybe like 10 anywhere from like 30 to $50,000 gaps in like what you can get paid, right? So like a data scientist salary band might be 130 to $180,000 versus a data analyst might be 80 to $130,000, or probably more accurately like 90 to $140,000, right? So I would always strive to become a data scientist purely to ensure that you get into those higher salary bands, um, and that you are your job is more secure because you can always be downgraded to a data analyst in like really hard economic times or something like that. I don't know, but sorry, what was the question again? So yes, if I was to pursue a master's degree, if it was strictly for the purpose of like getting into data science or something like that, then there are data science masters these days. Um, you could also do a master's in statistics. Those I've heard those are recommended. MBAs are also always an option. So there's a couple of options. I think I'm debating what I really want to do. So given that I'm already in the industry, my master's would probably be something like to improve my domain expertise in something. So probably something to do with political science or something. Uh, Karishma Yadav. One more question: is MBA in data analytics and business analytics the same? I am not sure. You would have to look at the specific degree program you're looking at. Probably not. Data analytics is probably more mathematical, more math intensive than business analytics. Philip or Philippe, have you heard of Georgia Tech's online masters in analytics? Any thoughts on the course? Um, I forgot if I have or not. No, sorry, I've heard of it. I've not looked at it. I do need to look at it. I just know that Georgia Tech's an excellent university. Raj Pandya. What if your university isn't the best? Is it hard to secure a job, co-op, or internship in a big company? I think it yes, I think it is. I would also say that you could do what I did and kind of like grind your way up from smaller companies. Um, so I used to work at Interstate Batteries and CSC Service Works, good companies, but they weren't like picking top grads and stuff like that for like their analytics staff. Um, Maybe for like their like CI like their CI department and everything, but they're not they're not picking like Harvard people for or like PhDs and stuff to do data science and data analytics over there. Um, but by doing that, I was able to work my way into Nordstrom, and Nordstrom very much does pick like top people from PhD programs and stuff for our data science and analytics um, group. So I think you might have a. So I graduated from Emory, right? Which Emory itself is a top university, but not in data science or analytics or like you know it's a top university when you talk about the natural sciences and business, and that's to bachelor's, not so much the MBA program. The MBA program is pretty good, but the BBA program is better relatively. So, take it with a grain of salt, but that's kind of like the situation I was in, where I came from a really good university, but the university wasn't known for what the industry I'm in. So, I'll let you be the judge of whether like how much my university helped me or not. But I would say start from a small company and then like move up from there. Don't be afraid to start small and go from there. Ooh, we have a lot of questions. S. Hey, Shrunk. I'm also based in Seattle. Friday and Saturday looking great for weather. What are your plans? Oh, okay. So I'm actually not in town right now. So I'm in Denver at the moment, and I'll be here until next week, which sucks because I was hoping that, yeah, if you're saying the weather is nice, that would have been awesome to, be around. Um, but next week I'll be around. Nitin Mishra, from where and how can I learn the math required for a data scientist? I don't calculus. Yeah, I guess you do kind of have to learn it. Data Camp is probably a good place to get started. Gabriel Rodriguez. I applied for a data analyst opening at South Florida Health System, and the requirements were listed as high school diploma. Is that normal? That is not normal. And I was offered a job at Seattle's version of that. Right? There's a public health hospital in Seattle. Did not pay very well at all. So I don't want to generalize based on like literally one experience, but I would say definitely be on the lookout for low pay. Um, because I have not heard of health systems paying a lot of money to they pay a lot of money to IT people, but I've not heard of them paying a lot of money to data analysts. If someone else has different experience, feel free to put it in the chat below. Drew W. Mercer. Hi, Sean. Thanks for continuing to host these Q&A sessions. Of course, I have a lot of fun doing these. And I was saying, so I went to like a new coffee shop today, and I'm thinking about what do you call it? Going to a new one every Thursday now instead of like doing it from my desk. The problem is the numbers on these like ones I do from my phone never seem to be as good as the numbers of the ones I do from my desk. So, I might be stuck doing it from my desk. Or what I could do is I could like go outside, get the coffee, come back home, and then do it from my desk, which actually might be the move to go. So, um, I would like to have like these live streams have some kind of like component that encourages people to like come back to them. I know like Tina Huang, she does a great job with that. So if you guys have any idea, let me know. Weave Course 101, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mel, sunny but cold. I'll take it over 300 days of gloomy weather. Oh, 100%. My God, yes. I'll take sunny but cold any day over gloomy and anything. It can be gloomy and warm. But gloomy weather is just straight up depressing. Armando Herreros, business major here, recently accepted to an infrastructure analyst position. Cool, cool. Congratulations. How do you suggest to prepare for success mentally and skill wise? Be ready to ask as many questions as possible. Listen a ton. Take very, very good notes. You'd be surprised how many people in the corporate world take really bad notes and completely forgot how to take notes after college. Um, Take some time to meet people outside of your team as well. Just like, hey, I just started over here. I'm trying to meet some new people and learn what the company's all about. Ask people about their jobs. Ask them what like problems they encounter in their jobs. These are all tips to succeed at the company. All right, what do we got? Gokul Subramaniam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chase Christensen. If low pay isn't necessarily a concern right out of the gate, where would you suggest a good place to start? Look for entry level analysis jobs. I want to learn more in shadow. Oh, so Hodcon, applied mathematics is great. Chase Christensen. Rena Mansour. I prefer Tableau, but they're both like the same thing basically. Um, yeah. Tableau and Power BI are like the same freaking thing. It's like I remember like I tried out Power BI and I'm like, you know, the whole purpose of these tools is it's supposed to be easy to use. So in my opinion, you always want to spend as little time in Tableau as possible. Oh no, so I have a timer on my YouTube. So hopefully the live stream does not cancel out because we are at 9:48. So I might head out in 5 minutes, guys. Uh, Vesem, do you know anything about Coursera? Coursera, are they worth it? I don't know if I'd buy them. I don't think you have to buy them. You can take them for free. So yeah. But sorry. Um, Chase Christensen, to answer your question, a good place to look for jobs. I was about to say Zillow. I meant LinkedIn Jobs and Indeed. Um, I see what you mean about the low pay thing. The one thing I would say that is important, like the one thing I would say that makes pay important outside of just making money, is if you are paid well, your company will give you good work because they're not going to pay you a lot of money to do nothing and to not like give like your company will expect you to make at least five times the money that they pay you, something like that, right? Um, and so I would say the benefit of being paid well also is that you can expect to get good work, and you can ask for like more demanding work. The problem with people that get paid very little, or well, not the problem with them, but the problem with their jobs is that it is a lot of really like low skill tasks that will not help them in their career get passed to them. So I would warn you against taking a low paying job for that specific reason. I have a lot of ducked for jobs on LinkedIn. What does that mean? The grid? All right. So Chinmoy Dutta. I got into Amazon as an ML data associate, which is a transcription job, and we'll be studying data analysts. Oh, whoops. DA on the side, and hoping to do internal transfer. Some experience. Nice. Yeah. No. Smart move. Smart move. Luck on LinkedIn. Okay. I've had a lot of luck for jobs on LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn is awesome. In my experience, at least in the United States, it's where a lot of the best jobs are posted, um, because they have great tools for recruiters, and recruiters are on LinkedIn all the time, anyways, looking for new candidates to bring into their team. So I would definitely recommend it. Utsav, I'm working at KPMG as a data analyst. Which ETL tool is more in demand in organizations? I don't really know. I've never used an ETL tool personally, because I just ETL my data using, whatever method works the best. So usually I'll just like create a Python script or something. So I honestly cannot comment on that because I really don't know. VSEM, is there a boot camp that you can recommend? Not yet. There is not a boot camp I can recommend yet, although I am looking into that question more deeply. Joseph Cruz, will the rising data robot and auto ML replace a data analyst? I don't believe so. I've seen Data Robot's product. It's a great product. It essentially requires very clean data, and it requires someone who understands the business and understands which analyses make the most sense to actually like conduct. Um, and I think that's where you're going to be having data analysts, well into the future. Now, the problem that I see is that people get really like hooked up on these technical skills, and my channel is very much like about building those technical skills, right? Um, what would what I would say is the it's important to remember what you're actually there for as a data analyst. You're not there to write code, or you're not there to like write SQL for the sake of writing SQL. You're there to provide insights on data, and that is what you need to remember is the core of your job. So if you remember that, then I think you'll always have a job because you'll always be able to provide insights for people. It sounds really like vacuous, And that's why you get paid a lot of money. Like people don't get paid a lot of money to do extremely specific tasks. They get paid a lot of money to do very broad skilled or broad tasks at a very high level of expertise. Jonas, when is the next storytelling with data and unofficial overview part two coming out? Um, I will get to work on that. It will be. I don't want to make any promises because I'm taking a small unofficial break from YouTube. Not that I'm not going to make any. Um, not that I'm not going to make any videos, but more that I want to take a step back because I created a bunch of videos recently, right? I want to take a step back and really like evaluate where I want the channel to go. So soon, but I can't guarantee anything because I'm taking a bit of a step back to kind of evaluate where this channel is going. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of construction back there. That's why I muted the microphone. If you haven't liked the stream already, make sure you like the stream, please. SQL up to what level is needed for data analyst? So Aditya, go ahead and check out my SQL course. I have all the information you need to know over there. Clockwork. Do you typically have to have a few years of experience for an ML engineer position, or can you be an entry level ML engineer? Either a few years of experience or an advanced education. Yeah. Um, there might be like entry level ML engineers these days, but I would say they're probably not super common positions. Your better bet is getting a few years of experience or getting an advanced degree. If you have an advanced degree, you're good to go. That should really, really help you. Yeah, yeah. So I cut out the audio for a second because it was the construction vehicles were really, really screechy. So Tanner F. With LinkedIn being such a good tool, would it be worth the $300 to $400 investment in a resume and LinkedIn profile rewrite? Maybe I had a friend who used a service that did that, and it was this old lady who obviously like has not been in the job market for technical positions in like the last decade or two. Um, no shade against older people. It's just that eh, it's the problem is it's difficult to pay someone for something that you can't measure the success of and know if you're getting a good deal on it or not. I think in my opinion, $300 to $400 is way too much to pay someone for that. Like, if you are a really high level, like if you're looking for a high level executive job, I've heard of executives paying people to rewrite their resumes and that making a lot more sense. But if you're looking at like a technical position at like my level or something, right? Um, I don't think I would pay nearly that much for a resume. I wouldn't pay anyone, quite honestly. Um, I'll put it this way: you're better off asking people in like your friends, right? Friends that you know who have gotten nice jobs and are like doing well, to help you with your resume than paying all that money for it. I think that's better. Or you're better just learning it yourself. Like I'm very much and this is like life philosophy with Shashank time, right? I believe that obviously people should specialize, but there are some skills that are so important to success in life that you might as well just learn them yourself because you need to. And things like things of that nature include personal finance. You need to learn how to manage your personal finances. I would not offload that to someone else until you're making so much money. It's not worth your time to manage it. Um, so that means doing your own taxes and stuff like that. I'm very much a proponent of doing that, especially if you're like a W-2, like if that's the only source of income you have, and you don't have like kids and stuff. Your taxes are really simple. Um, so I recommend that. And then writing your own resumes is another thing that I recommend you just do yourself because it's such an important life skill that it's better off that you just know how to do it yourself. That's just my opinion. Took one of the services and it's not really worth it. No one can write about yourself better than you. Yeah, exactly. John No is exactly right. I think it's an important skill to build up, even though I hate writing resumes. It's like the most miserable part of the job hunting experience, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, just do it yourself. Weeb Course 101. Any thoughts on migrating to data engineer instead of data scientist in the future? Data engineers get paid better on average. So, I definitely, I don't think that's a bad move. I think a lot of that might have to do with the fact that, like, um, So I've started to notice, right? So like I've been doing this YouTube thing for about a year now. I've started to notice that like some data scientist jobs like aren't really like the people aren't data scientists, like they just get the title. And so I'm guessing that's why the numbers get skewed lower, because if you're not going to pay someone six figures to do data analyst work as a data scientist or something like that, right? Um, or they would have to be like pretty senior for that. And what is it? What do you call it? Uh, and what was it? I lost my train of thought. Uh, where I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry. Yes, but a data engineer, it's a really concrete job, in the sense that like you have to have like certain ETL skills, you have to have like certain software engineering skills, and be able to manage like large amounts of data. So I think that might be part of the reason why they get paid more than data scientists, because like the job is more well defined than that of a data scientist, and like there are data analysts out there who have the title data scientist. So Mel, okay, so I think I have time for one more question, maybe one or two more questions. So as a heads up, so on these live streams, as you guys can probably tell, I never have time to answer all the questions, and I do apologize for that. I know that people come here to have their questions answered, but just practically speaking, I can't give a good answer to questions and answer all the questions at the same time, right? Um, so I kind of answer them a bit randomly, in somewhat chronological order, related to where I think I can add the most value. So there are some questions I skip over because I truly don't believe I can add a lot of value to that question, or um, the what would I say? The question's already been answered on the channel. But to answer your question, Mel, I'm unsure. I'm making a portfolio, and I'm unsure if it's okay to have a mixture of professional. If Pokemon Pro. Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah. If you want to have that in your professional portfolio, do it. Like at the end of the day, the way I see it, like the the great thing about this industry is people are like a lot less like uppity and professional than in many other industries, and I absolutely love it. At least in my experience, people are really okay with that kind of stuff. So as long as you don't have anything offensive in there, then I think you're gonna do great. I would say, for example, like avoid politics. One thing I've been questioning is like with the whole like Russia Ukraine war thing. I think that you can, as long as you take the Ukraine, like a pro Ukrainian angle on it. I think in the U.S. you can have do an analysis on that, because the general American public is very much like opposed to the Russian invasion. But broadly speaking, I'd avoid politics. But outside of that, yeah, I would definitely say you are more than within the bounds of propriety to go ahead and do that. So yeah, definitely, yeah, it makes everything a lot more interesting, honestly. Otherwise, like portfolio projects are boring. So hopefully, I answered your question. For live stream, the grid for live stream, poll the community for focus topics, then go through top rated topics so people can watch the stream by focus topic, so they can go back and watch them. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for joining. If you haven't already liked the live stream, make sure you like the live stream. Um, but thank you guys so much for joining. I love doing these every Thursday. I'm here every Thursday at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.